Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Gettysburg College for another edition of Facebook Live. We're glad you can join us this afternoon. My name is Braden Snyder, and today we're joined by the captains of the Gettysburg College men's basketball team, which opens its season this Friday and Saturday with the 27th annual Gettysburg Tip-Off Tournament. The Bullets get things started on Friday at 6 p.m. when they face off with Bridgewater at 6 p.m. in their opening round game. Our first captain, seated on the far right of your screen, would be junior guard Matt Palacio. He's an environmental studies major from Katona, New York. He's entering his third year with the Bullets and his first as a team captain. He has played in 17 games over the past 2 years and will push for additional playing time in the backcourt this season. We're also joined today by senior forward Cam Stewart, seated in the middle of your screen. He is a health sciences major and business minor from Sydney, Australia. He's been a steady contributor for the Bullets since arriving at Gettysburg, playing in 72 games, making 49 starts over his career. He scored 464 points, and in one of his top performances as a Bullet, he was named the MVP of the 2015 Gettysburg Tip-Off Tournament when he scored 23 points versus Rutgers Newark in the championship game. So welcome, Matt and Cam, and thanks for taking time out here this afternoon as we approach the start of your season. So I guess you've been practicing about a month now with the team. So, Matt, I guess my first question to you would just be if you can just talk a little bit about just how the preseason has been going, first impressions.
Yeah, I think we've had a pretty strong preseason. We've been able to bring consistent energy every single day to practice and keep it fresh. You know, it gets tough sometimes. You go 3-4 weeks without a game, but we've done a pretty good job of trying to bring the same energy in practice. So,
looking over the team roster, it's a very young squad this year. As 13 of the 18 players actually are freshmen or sophomores. As Cam, a question to you would be if you can just talk about the younger players on this team, and from what you've seen of the team so far, how you think they will impact the team. In particular, the 6 freshmen who we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, so we've had a young team pretty similar to last year, which is a good thing in my opinion because last year gave some of the now sophomores good experience and good playing time to sort of develop their game and grow as basketball players for Gettysburg. I feel like the young freshmen coming into the squad, they have a lot to learn, as any freshmen do when they're coming into a new basketball program, especially this one. And with that comes a lot of responsibility and a lot of learning and a lot of time to put into to learn the Princeton offense and grow as a basketball player. But some of those guys have shown good athletic ability and good sort of basketball knowledge, and it's been rewarded with them working their way up the ranks to have potentially a lot of playing time this season. There's a couple guys that sort of need to develop and grow as players, but we're not worried that they will do that, and we're looking forward to see them grow.
And talking about having such a young roster, Matt, I guess how important do you feel your role then becomes as one of the few upperclassmen, I guess one of the 5 juniors or seniors on the team?
Yeah, I think it's important to have another voice to hear besides, from our 2 coaches. They do a great job of being constructive and, giving the guys advice when the time's right. But it's nice to hear a third or a fourth voice coming from me or from Cam. We try to, just keep it fresh on the court and have everybody, playing to the best of their abilities at all time. So I think it's important as one of the few upperclassmen to just try to help out as whatever we can, whether it be on the court, playing, leading on the court, or on the sidelines, coaching up some of the younger guys when, we have some new putting in or some new defensive strategy that we're trying to do. I think it's important for myself and for Cam to, pay attention and keep everybody on the same page.
As we take a quick glance back at last year's team, the team graduated 4 seniors who really made heavy contributions for the Bullets over the past 4 years. Cody Kiefer, was a 1,000-point scorer. Pete Christ, Tanner Kirkpatrick, Malaji Reeves, they all made their mark, really as just some of the team's top performers. over the last 4 years, in what was a pretty solid 4-year run, a couple of conference playoff appearances. Can you talk about, Cam, what you may have picked up from those seniors over the last 4 years, and maybe how you benefited from playing alongside those four?
Yeah. So, yeah, obviously losing 4 seniors means there's a lot of big shoes to fill, and a lot of the younger guys sort of looked up to them last year, and they've grown and developed as players watching them play. But now that they're no longer here, they sort of now actually have to physically play the role that they contributed to the team. So big roles to fulfill, but a lot of the guys will have opportunities to do that, and we're confident that they will be able to do that. But what their mark that they've left on me, and I guess Palacio and the other upperclassmen, and then so I grew up with them for 3 years, played under Cody, Tanner, Pete, and ML all years. So I've learned a lot, grown as a player, and sort of watching them and seeing how they contribute to the team and the on and off the court, how they continue to show like good leadership, sort of molded me as a person, as a player, and now as a captain. So I'm sort of just hoping to follow in their footsteps and hopefully lead the team to some good victories this year, and maybe even the championship.
Yeah, that's always the goal, and they certainly were four that made an impact, over 50 victories over the last 4 years, and four's names are also throughout the college record book. One of the two seniors on the team this year, alongside you, Cam, is Matt England. He's returning this year after a year away from the program, but 2 years ago, Matt was the team's third leading scorer. He averaged just under 10 points a game, so definitely a scoring threat and one of the team's most established players. Can you talk about what Matt England brings to the team?
Yeah, so Matt's probably one of our most versatile players in the team. He's playing anywhere from the 2 spot to the 5 right now. We've had a couple of injuries, so Matt's had to bounce around, but his experience from his year as a freshman and sophomore hasn't left him. We did miss him last year, but we're glad to have him back, and he's going to be a huge contributor to our team, and he was as a sophomore as well, even as a freshman. But his versatility to be able to play sort of any position is going to be absolutely huge for us, and I'm very ecstatic to have him back, and I'm very excited to see how he's going to play this year.
Well, every student athlete here at Gettysburg has a story, how they came here, what attracted them to Gettysburg, and so just interested to hear your stories, Matt. If you can maybe just talk a little bit about your story, what brought you here, and yeah.
Well, there was actually a few guys from my hometown that had come to Gettysburg in years prior to when I'd been here, and they told me great things about it. I love everything about the campus, the people here, and I came to visit a couple times, and I really loved it. I loved the small school feel. I loved they were telling me every day they walk to class, they see a couple people they know, wave hi, you feel like you're welcomed, to everybody here. And I applied to a bunch of different schools, big and small, but I thought Gettysburg was a good fit for me, to pursue my academic goals, and I was fortunate enough to be able to walk onto the team here. I wasn't, I didn't come here to play basketball, but it was a goal of mine to be on the team. So I'm thankful to be on the team for 3 years now, and work my way up from being a walk-on. Now I'm a captain, so hopefully I get to finish out a good career, and yeah.
Environmental studies major as well, and things are working out on and off the court. As we mentioned, Cam, you're from Sydney, Australia, one of, I believe, 3 international players on our team. Can you talk a little bit about, in your story, how you heard of Gettysburg from the land down under, and what was the transition like for you coming here and learning, I guess on and off the court, but especially on the court, and learning a new style of basketball, learning kind of the American basketball style?
Yeah, so I'm a bit far away from Gettysburg in the big island of Australia, but basically throughout, there's a long story behind it, but essentially just threw out a big net to a couple of D3 schools, and Gettysburg was one of them. I sort of did a search online through a couple websites, and Gettysburg kept coming up as like a top liberal arts college, and I was like, okay, let's go further with that, and got in contact with the coaching staff, and then they pushed me through to a couple of the people in the administration's building, and they're constant sort of emailing me every day saying, have you got this paperwork done, have you done that, sort of was like, okay, these people seem to want me here, and I followed through with it, and I was lucky enough to be given an opportunity and a blessing to come here, and I'm very thankful for that. In terms of the basketball, it was a bit of an adjustment. I know the shot clock's changed from 35 to 30, which is works in my favor because we play by the FIBA rules, which use 24 seconds. And so a lot of our games were faster pace, sort of looking to get quick shots and running quick hitters. When came to Gettysburg and watching a lot of the other Centennial Conference teams, it's a very systematic conference, and sort of you have like your offenses and what you're looking to get, and it's a bit of a process, a bit of a slower pace, but I tried to adapt to that. And I was a freshman, coach would get on my case about rushing and trying to get things done, but I think I've grown and developed as a player to play a little slower, but think more and sort of look at knowing why we're trying to get certain options. But it's been tough, but I'm sure anyone that's had any basketball experience anywhere has the ability to adapt to the American basketball style.
Something that's become almost synonymous with Gettysburg men's basketball is the Princeton offense. You brought it up earlier, Matt. As someone who's now experienced it for 2 years, can you just describe a little bit about what it's like to play in the Princeton offense, and I guess also what makes it tough to defend on the other team?
Yeah. I mean, you said it's synonymous with Gettysburg basketball. You can't really talk about Gettysburg basketball without putting Princeton offense in the same sentence. I think it provides us with a very complicated but very effective offensive strategy. It forces our offensive guys to read and react to what the defense is doing by cutting and screening hard, and that's, I think, what makes it so great. And it's tough to defend because as a defender, you're trying to defend a guy running around the court for 30 seconds, and you take a break for 2-3 seconds, and that's when he's going to cut back door and you're going to get a layup. So it's kind of the offense where you got to know where you're supposed to be and keep the floor space at all times. But once you do that and you're able to see what the defense is doing, there's really options to score at every point.
So we'll close this with one final question for you, Cam. You had the opportunity to get involved in some volunteer opportunities away from basketball through the college's Center for Public Service. And it was through this CPS summer fellowship in the summer of 2016 that you were able to combine your passion for social justice with your knowledge as a health sciences major. It was kind of a unique experience. Can you talk a little bit about that, and I guess what how the CPS was able to give you that opportunity?
Yeah. It was a bit of an odd experience because it sort of required me to stay on campus over the summer, but it came through my international advisor, Brad Lancaster, who sort of sent out an email to a couple of the international students about an opportunity of working with the Center for Public Service over the summer. And I saw it and I was like, all right, why not? So I applied, and I was lucky enough to be given the position or the fellowship for the summer. I lived with, I think, it was 5 other students who were also in the same program as me. And basically we worked with different groups and communities and programs around the Adams County, and to do with like social justices and food access. And it was a very unique experience to sort of open my eyes up to sort of the greater community that's outside of Gettysburg College itself, because Gettysburg is really a college town, so a lot of people forget that and forget about the surrounding areas. And that experience had really sort of shown me some of the communities around there and sort of some of the programs that are working to sort of help people. And I highly recommend anyone, if they're interested, to apply for summer fellowships or even going to the Center for Public Service building and getting in contact with the people there, and they can get you in touch with sort of volunteer programs that run over the summer and during the school semesters.
All right. It just sounded like a great experience. Thanks so much for sharing, Cam, and thank you, Matt, as well, for coming out for this Facebook Live preseason preview. Again, Bullets are opening their season Friday night right here in Brame Gym. In the first round of the 27th annual Gettysburg tip-off tournament, the Bullets take on Bridgewater at 6 p.m. and will face either Hunter or Moravian on Saturday at 2 or 4 p.m. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for following along here on Facebook Live. You can watch the archive of this interview on the Gettysburg College Athletics Facebook page shortly after the conclusion of this interview. So have a great day, and go Bullets.